Let's do paper 2, business for A-level. So this is paper 2 and this is your theme 2 and 3. So this is section A. It starts with case study and there are extract A, B, C and there's D as well. So use these extracts in your answers. That's application. Answer your question on this case study. So this is EasyJet, budget airline, again EasyJet, and the graph was for fuel prices. Use this business scenario, this data in your answers. Alright, the first question is using the data from extract A, calculate the difference in the gearing ratio for EasyJet PLC between 2019 and 2020. You should state the difference to 2 decimal places. So your answer should be to 2 decimal places. Start with the formula. That's always easy. So gearing ratio is non-current liabilities divided by capital employed times 100, and you have to calculate the difference between 2019 and 2020. So calculate for 2020 first, put in the values, calculate for 2019, find the difference and give your answer. So this is the easy way to score 4 marks. Next is the 4 marker. Explain one effect on EasyJet PLC of the reduced capacity utilization of its aircraft in 2020. So for a 4 marker, knowledge mark is 1. So give some formula, give some knowledge, give some definition. Application is 2. So pick 2 points from the extract, and analysis is 1. So capacity utilization is the measure of the extent to which the productive capacity of a business is being used. Capacity utilization has fallen from 91.5 in 2019 to 87.2 in 2020. So this is picked up from the extract. So that's one application. There are more empty seats on each plane. The fixed costs are spread over fewer passengers, resulting in high unit costs or average costs. So there are 2 application points there. There's some data used there, and then the answer is in the last sentence. So that's how you answer your 4 marker. So the next question is the 10 marker. Assess with reference to Porter's 5 forces whether the bargaining power of buyers represents the most significant external influence on EasyJet PLC. Porter's 5 forces are rivalry amongst existing competitors, threat of substitutes, potential new entrants, bargaining power of suppliers, and bargaining power of buyers. So that's your knowledge. So for a 10 marker, knowledge is 2 marks, analysis is 3, evaluation, counter argument and judgment is 3, and application is 2. So whatever you write for the business given in the extracts, apply to the case study. Bargaining power of buyers can be seen as the most significant external influence on EasyJet PLC because buyers are the ones buying tickets for the planes. Customers have a wide choice of budget airlines such as Ryanair. Consequently, consumers can switch to the rivals if they charge lower prices. Consumers have alternatives to air travel such as road, rail, and ferry, which may affect EasyJet's ability to retain customers. Consumers can share their bad experiences on social media, resulting in widespread bad publicity. However, power of suppliers may be important as fuel represents around a third of total costs. Therefore, budget airlines may suffer from lower profit margins. The competition in the market from Ryanair and Jet2 may lead to fall in sales and hence the market share. Threat of new entrants, example, the rise of a new generation of budget airlines enabled by low barriers to entry. However, EasyJet is 7th largest airline in the world, so because it has an established name, it may not be affected by the rise of a new generation of budget airlines due to already being established customer loyalty. Nevertheless, give a brief conclusion. So basically you are summing up your analysis and the counter argument. Nevertheless, bargaining power of buyers can be seen as the most significant external factor because the ticket sales rely on the customers. It also depends on how popular EasyJet are and level of rivalry of new rivals, that is competition. But because EasyJet is 7th largest airline in world, it will have loyal customers, so rivals can be seen as less of a threat, and bargaining power of buyers can be seen as most important external influence. So the next is the 12 marker. Assess whether the change in price of jet fuel between November 2015 and July 2018 may have affected EasyJet PLC's management of its working capital. So you should know what a working capital is. So give some knowledge, give some definition, give some understanding. So that's your 2 marks. Application 2 marks, analysis and evaluation 4 marks. Working capital is current assets minus current liabilities. It is required to pay the day to day running costs of a business. The price of jet fuel rose from $37 per barrel in November 2015 to nearly $97 per barrel in July 2018. So there is some application even in the knowledge paragraph. Use different paragraphs to show different parts of the answers so that the examiners note that you have covered every part of the structure of the answer. Rising jet fuel prices may lead to increased cash outflows, especially as EasyJet has to buy fuel for its large fleet of 345 aircrafts. This may result in a fall in working capital, which may lead to EasyJet being unable to pay off their short term debts like pay for fuel or employees to maintain the running of the business. In order to reduce cash outflows, EasyJet may have to purchase less jet fuel, limiting their ability to fly to all its 35 countries. So, in this paragraph, we have shown that what the working capital is used for. So, basically, it's used for day to day running of the business, for those raw materials, which is fuel in this case, pay their employees, etc. However, EasyJet is world's seventh largest airline. It may be able to negotiate lower jet fuel prices from its suppliers, resulting in lower cash outflows. Consequently, EasyJet may be able to manage its working capital more effectively. EasyJet may be able to obtain more favorable credit terms from its suppliers, resulting in reduction in cash outflows by delaying payment. Also, EasyJet can switch to just in time, enabling it to buy smaller quantities of jet fuel. This could limit the effect on its working capital. They can introduce fresh capital into the business by issuing new shares. Nevertheless, give a brief conclusion. The price of jet fuel has increased by $60 per barrel. For most airlines, jet fuel accounts for around a third of total costs. Therefore, the effect on working capital would be significant because there will be a considerable cash outflow as there is no alternative to jet fuel. EasyJet could improve its management of working capital by offering incentives to its customers to pay for their flights earlier, resulting in quicker cash inflows. Also, it is dependent on whether the change in the price of oil is just a short term fluctuation or is a part term of a long term trend. It affects them as they might have to pass on these costs over to the consumers, affecting their competitive advantage. Avoid to write anything outside the box uh, because it's written do not write in this area. So try to write there, or you can continue it on the next page, or you can always write continued on page so and so. Then it's the 20 marker. EasyJet wishes to improve its profitability. To achieve this, EasyJet is considering either purchasing a new fleet of electric and hydrogen powered aircraft or focusing on increasing its market share of the package holiday market. Evaluate these two options and recommend which one is more suitable for EasyJet PLC to improve its profitability. So there are two options given. Question is to improve the profitability, so keep that as a center of answering your question. Use the extract. These two options, they are mentioned in the case study, so read them, reread the case study when you are answering 20 marker, so that you can pick up the data, the part of the extracts which you can use in your answer. So 20 marks, start with some knowledge, give pros and cons of the first option, pros and cons of the second option, and then in the conclusion, a nice detailed conclusion where you recommend which one will work more for EasyJet. EasyJet could improve its profitability by purchasing a new fleet of electric and hydrogen powered aircraft, as 94% of their customers are concerned with the environmental impact. This is picked up from the case study of air travel. This could give EasyJet a USP compared to its rivals such as Ryanair and Jet2, especially as it wants to lead the aviation industry in meeting the challenge of reducing the environmental impact of air travel through its sustainability strategy. This represents CSR, so you are using different parts of the specification as well. which positively impacts EasyJet's reputation and improve their brand image. Consumers may be prepared to pay higher prices if they believe that they are making a positive environmental impact. Jet fuel prices currently represents a third of total costs for most airlines and therefore would not be needed if EasyJet were to purchase a new fleet of electric or hydrogen aircraft. However, EasyJet may be attempting to implement a strategy that is entirely new to them. Hence, due to the lack of experience with hydrogen powered aircraft, it may result in an increase in costs. This is because pilots may require training, which would be costly. Furthermore, the possibility of malfunctions also result in an increase of costs, as it reduces the amount of flights that EasyJet could operate with, as well as the cost of repairing the aircraft. Not to forget the initial research and development costs of creating the new airlines, and so although it seems hydrogen powered airlines may be beneficial, they may instead result in rise in costs and so hence decreasing profitability. The second option of increasing its market share of the package holiday market would be cheaper and classified as market penetration of Ansof's matrix. Again, covering other parts of the specification, EasyJet is the seventh largest airline in the world with 342 aircrafts and 48 million customers across 35 countries and 154 airports. So, data used from the case study. It is an established business with a well known reputation, which makes an increase in market share more likely. 97% of EasyJet's customers travel for leisure. This may represent a large potential market because these customers could be targeted to buy a package holiday instead of just a flight. EasyJet Holidays offers its customers the best price guarantee and full refund if customers um, I think the last bit was just a repetition. So, if the customers cancel their holidays at least 28 days before departure, this may attract customers, especially after the disruptions they may have faced to their holidays as a result of any travel restrictions. However, the holiday packages market may be considered to be saturated. There are many comparison websites offering customers with an insight into cheap package deals as well as alternatives such as Airbnb on the rise. Thereby, this may make it difficult for EasyJet to gain market share and so increase profitability. To conclude, EasyJet should choose to develop a new fleet of electric or hydrogen powered aircraft despite the high initial cost, because in the long term it may enable EasyJet to reduce its energy costs significantly. This could lead to improved profitability. Market, so use MOPS market. The airline market is very dynamic with lots of new entrants. It is also competitive with established operators such as Ryanair and EasyJet in the budget sector, as well as British Airways and Virgin Atlantic in the long haul sector. Therefore, by investing in hydrogen powered aircraft, EasyJet can establish a USP over its rivals. Objectives: EasyJet wishes to improve its profitability. 97% of EasyJet's I couldn't continue in this page, so that's what you can do in the exam scenario continued on page 24. So in the exam paper you'll have some blank pages at the end, so use them for continuation. So always number it. Do mention which answer it is if you are continuing on a separate sheet. 1D, customers fly for leisure. Consequently, EasyJet can improve its profitability by generating more revenues through selling higher priced package holidays to the same customers. Product: EasyJet is a low cost European airline. By investing in electric hydrogen powered planes, EasyJet can continue to satisfy its market segment and sell competitively priced package holidays, especially given the potential lower running cost in the long term. Situation: in common with most airlines, EasyJet has recently suffered from falling passenger numbers due to travel restrictions caused by the global health crisis. In the short run, consumers may be keen to book package holidays because they were unable to in 2020. So use MOPS to answer the question. So this is basically your summary, your recommendation. So you have answered the question. So then it's section B, and then you'll have few more extracts. Use this extract in the following answers. Use this data to answer your questions. So the first question is the calculation question. It's asking to calculate the 3-period moving averages for the percentage of rooms occupied for the periods March to May and June to August, to 2 decimal places stating the difference. So you have to calculate for March to May and then June to August and then give the difference. So use this table So the percentage of rooms occupied are given, so you just have to use this data. Moving average from March to May. So moving averages, you add them and divide by 3. So March, April plus May divided by 3, you get 48.33. Then you do for June to August, and then you calculate the difference and give in to 2 decimal places, but here you've got the whole number, 35%. Next is to calculate how many rooms needed to be occupied each month for the business to break even. So start with the formula. Break even is fixed cost divided by selling price minus variable cost. Selling price is 84, variable cost is 34, annual fixed cost is 30,000. Put in the values, but this is annual fixed cost. Calculate the monthly fixed cost, put in the values, and you get the answer 50 rooms per month. So if you calculate with annual fixed cost, then the final answer divide by 12, because you have to calculate for per month. So next is the 10 marker. Assess the value of historical budgeting to less and less in their financial planning for bluebells. Historical budgeting is financial planning based on past figures and data, which can then be used to plan costs and expenses for the upcoming year. So you have given the definition, then move on to answering the question, give the counter argument, give a conclusion, and that's how you answer 10 marker. An advantage for historical budgeting for less and less is their occupancy is seasonal. So it is easy to see how many people visit Bluebells, which gives them nice steady figures to base their budgets around. Also, Bluebells has been operating since 2006, so has many years of previous figures it could use. The owner should have plenty of experience and knowledge of the holiday accommodation market, so the figures they use should be accurate and therefore of more value. Bluebells is a small business and historical budgeting is more appropriate as it is easier and quicker for less and less to complete. However, Bluebells is in a competitive market with many other guest houses, hotels, and self catering accommodation. So figures could change quite rapidly from year to year. Also, one cannot always predict the trends of the next year. Les and Liz could have a bad TripAdvisor review, ruining their reputation. This cannot be planned into a budget. Les and Liz are also unlikely to have included the growth of other UK holiday destinations, which will have an impact on them eventually. Another disadvantage of historical budgeting is you cannot predict sudden events such as an economic crisis or pandemic. To conclude, Bluebells is a small family run business. Les and Liz have many other operations to deal with in addition to budgeting. Historical budgeting is therefore likely to be more valuable because it is more convenient and quicker. So the 12 marker, assess the usefulness of SWOT analysis for Bluebell's continued success. SWOT analysis is a strategic planning technique used to help a business identify its strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So for 12 markers, start with giving a knowledge, answer the question analysis, give a counter argument, and give a conclusion. Everything should be in application, that means for the business given in the extract. Bluebell's strengths include its excellent reputation and 5-star reviews, which can be used to counter threat and exploit opportunities. It could also be used as a selling point in their adverts and could help to increase their demand. Bluebell potential weakness is that it is a relatively smaller business run by Les and Liz. It may therefore be able to identify potential problems and consider ways to overcome them. Example, lack of expertise in finance compared to larger competitors. Potential opportunities from technological development such as online travel agents, example booking.com, and customer review websites, example TripAdvisor, can be exploited. Potential threats from the activities of existing competitors such as other guest houses, hotels, and self catering accommodation can be identified and strategies developed to counter them. However, Bluebells is a small business and the owners may lack the knowledge and experience to undertake SWOT analysis effectively. The UK holiday market is competitive and fast changing. Les and Liz may struggle to complete a SWOT analysis that reflects these changes. Completing a SWOT analysis may have a significant opportunity cost. Les and Liz could spend their time on more useful activities such as offering more facilities. Nevertheless, SWOT analysis is useful for strategic decisions because it will enable Les and Liz to focus upon the key influences that may affect Bluebell's future success, such as technological developments and increased competition. Due to fast changing nature of the tourism market, Decisions made through SWOT analysis may quickly become outdated. This consequently limits the usefulness of SWOT analysis for blue belts. So this is the last question. It's the 20 marker. Liz and Les have set themselves the objective of managing Bluebell's finances more effectively. They are considering whether to focus more on improving cash flow or increasing profit. Evaluate these two options and recommend which one is more suitable for Liz and Les to achieve this objective. Cash flow is the movement of cash into and out of the business over a period of time. It is essential that a business has sufficient funds in order to pay for its day to day expenses. Profit is total revenue minus total costs. It is a reward for the risk of investing in the business. So that's the knowledge part. Bluebell Bluebells is a seasonal business with the majority of its cash inflow generated between May and September. Consequently, it needs to generate sufficient revenue to survive during the off season. The business is closed between December and February and consequently will have negative cash flow during these months. Les and Liz place great emphasis on the importance of financial planning. This includes careful management of working capital, so it is clear that they already recognize the importance of ensuring good liquidity. It is a small business which may indicate that it has a limited financial reserves and only be allowed a small overdraft facility by its bank. Bluebell operates in a competitive market and may need to increase profits in order to have the funds available for investment in marketing. Example, a well designed website. Retained profit is cheaper than obtaining a bank loan. Bluebells invests 50% of its profit into the business to improve its efficiency. Example, new windows and fuel efficient boiler. In the long term, Bluebell should focus on increasing profits as it needs to consistently generate funds to reinvest in the business in order to maintain its success in a competitive market. Increasing profit is a reward for Les and Liz for the risk they took by investing in Bluebells. However, in the short term, Bluebell should choose to improve its cash flow. This is because it may need to generate a sufficient cash surplus in the summer months in order to survive during the winter months, especially as it is a small business that is facing an increasingly competitive and fast changing market. Bluebells need to maintain its excellent reputation by investing profits back into the business to ensure the high standard of its facilities is maintained. This is important to ensure that Bluebell continues to attract customers in an increasingly competitive market. So now give MOPS market. Bluebell operate in a competitive holiday accommodation market. It faces threats from its existing rivals in Keswick, as well as competition from city breaks and other rural destinations. Objectives: Bluebell places great emphasis on careful financial planning. This may include objectives linked to cash flow and profit targets. The business also has an excellent reputation which it needs to maintain. Product: Bluebell offers a good quality product at a competitive price. As it operates in the holiday market, demand for its product may be considered to have positive income elasticity of demand. Situation: Bluebell is a well established business that has been operating since 2006. It enjoys a good reputation and achieves room occupancy level consistently above its break even target. So that's how you answer your 20 marker.